Good morning, Plumb here, playing World of Tanks. Welcome to another replay. So this is all going to be part of a new series that is going to appear on the channel because I'm always dreaming up new series and they all fail miserably. But this is going to work because you don't have to do anything, just keep doing what you're doing. Sending in replays. PZ1C coming up. We're in FlashBoredom's tank. We're in his Panzer B2. And this PZ1C has made a catastrophic mistake. He's driven into the line of fire of 3 enemy tanks. We're being shot at by the other PZ1C, but that's our first kill straight away. We're going to get a lot of kills in this game in the Panzer B2. Top tier heavy tank, the only, bring this up, the only top tier heavy tank on both teams actually, so advantage ours immediately. There's a T-70, I think if that's the T-70, is that the only T-70 on the enemy team? It is, yeah it is. He's going to have one hell of a game against us. He's going to probably have a headache by the end of it all. We managed to take out the Panzer 38T, nearly take out the T-70. Anyway, we're deciding where to put our little machine, and it's a premium tank, and if you play it on your own, you're only never going to see tier 4. You're always going to be the top tier heavy on your team. This does not mean that you are invincible, however. You can see we've lost lots of hit points already. Many tanks on the enemy team can penetrate him if they shoot him deliberately in weak spots. Maybe the ideal thing, or I'm just going to notice that the PZ1C and the M5 Stuart on the enemy team, currently in Charlie 3 on the map, probably about to kill our BT7 artillery. And we're taking incoming fire from that direction that we're looking at the moment, so we're going to press that way. So we are losing at the moment, quite badly. There's a lot of enemy tanks, and we are pretty much surrounded. Been detected again. I think we're about to spot a BT7 artillery. This tank is pretty well armoured when you're... Everyone keeps dying. When you're top tier, which you always are, unless you get into a platoon with someone else, then you might get dragged into a tier 5. It's kind of a bit like the Matilda Black Prince replay the other day. It's slow going. You've got armour though in this instance. We'll take a hit from the T-70. I think that might be the last actual bit of damage he gives to us. But this is the position you want to be in this tank. Like the Matilda Black Prince, it's got massive rate of fire. It can just put the hurt down so quickly. And the gun's not amazing, but it does the job at tier 4. And you're firing at tier 3s, you are going to pen most targets if they're flattened towards you. BT7 artillery, 3 kills. Right. We've got 3 friendly tanks left, including ourselves, and the enemy have got a lot. They've got 10. So you can imagine this is going to be quite the carry in the end, but how are we going to pull it off in this slow machine? Trying to decap. We've still got our SAL 42 back there. Our Panzer 38 is over at their base trying to cap, going for the win, but I think the Panzer 1C has just killed him, so there's 2 of us left now. We're being pressured on all different sides. We've got 3 enemy tanks coming at us. Trick is, I think, with this tank is to try and keep enemy tanks a good distance away from you. The closer they get, the more accurate they can shoot. And if I just take control of the camera for a moment and show you the front of this tank, if he wasn't in bushes. Ooh, there's a good shot. You see what looks like a spare wheel sticking out the front of the machine? Oh, these damn bushes. There it is. Looks like a spare wheel sticking out the front. That is a big weak spot, as is the hatch to the upper right, where there's probably a driver sitting, looking out of a slot. Give control back to FlashBoredom. 5 kills now, and there are 6 enemy tanks left. Let's see what our SAL 42 can do. There's the T-70 again. He's been just gnawing away at our heels the entire game. There's a T-80. And there's an LTP. LTP I've always found is quite a dangerous tank to be around. They've got a good firing gun, good penetration values, and he could hurt us quite easily, but our quick firing gun is quicker than his, fortunately. Alright, for a moment there, we were 1 against 5, so if we can pull this out and not die at the very end, we've got a Kolovanov's medal. Unfortunately, if he can kill these last 3 remaining tanks and get 10 kills, he won't pick up the Paul's medal, because even though he's in a tier 4 tank, which is eligible, he's in a tier 3 game. So you can't get a Paul's medal for shooting tier 3 tanks. That is just seal clubbing. So he realises that the cap is running. So he realises if he doesn't get back there pretty quickly, he's going to just lose this by default. And he doesn't want to lose. He's been having a cracking game. Absolutely caning any enemy tank that comes near him with that quick firing gun. These armour values on the front, those weak spots, they're only 40mm, 45mm thick, maybe 50mm. Even when you angle it, it remains about that sort of value. So they're big weak spots, and you can generally hit them if you're pretty close and you've got a pretty accurate gun. You don't even need to hit those weak spots. If you're in a tier 4 tank destroyer, you will happily penetrate the front of this tank. Many of your rounds will do upwards of 100mm of penetration. Finally, we take out the pesky T70. So we've got 2 tanks left now. The PZ-1C has decided to bail on the cap, figuring I cannot defend myself against that heavy tank. And he's probably right. The Panzer-1C will probably have to load gold rounds. Maybe he doesn't have them. So he's using his speed and his agility to get away. So Flash now has got really only one choice. He's got to rumble towards the enemy flag at a staggeringly slow speed. This could take a while. I am going to do my new format on this video. So once this match is finished, I'm going to take out my PZB2 and see if I can have a reasonably good game in it. It's not impossible to destroy this tank. As you can see, he's already lost 2/3 of his hit points to enemy tier 4s and 3s. Big weak spots on the front, get round its sides. Its sides aren't badly armoured actually. There's a Panzer-1C. And we cannot hit him. Oh, that Panzer-1C. I don't think he fires a shot in this game, it seems. I've watched this replay once already. Had a bit of a technical problem with my recording, so I had to do it all again. Hence here I am doing it all again. I've got quite an inkling of what does happen because I have watched it once already. There's the enemy artillery having its little pot shot. So yeah, I'm going to have a go in my tank once this one is finished, and we'll see. The Panzer-1C is doing a really good job actually. He's keeping FlashBoredom detected, giving his artillery a chance to kill him. And probably Artie's only got to hit him once, and he is dead. So this could be in the lap of the gods, whether RNG goes the artillery's way. He's in position, he's ready to fire, and he nails it. It looks like a slow tank, and it is a slow tank, but it's not so crushingly slow that Artie's going to have an absolute doddle hitting it. All I can recommend right now for FlashBoredom is to keep moving, even when he sees the Panzer-1C. Don't be tempted to stop and shoot at it, just keep moving. I think he heeds that advice as he rumbles down towards the flag, and it hasn't actually taken that long to get here, it seems. So I think we're going to get all the action happen now. Now what could be a different choice is for the PZ-1C now to go back to our base and start capping, because it will probably take us the entire length of the clock to get back there and actually try and decap us. But he's got to get back before we can get in his cap. But then you've got to hope that the artillery is actually able to spot the cap and get a shot off and decap us. So maybe that's where the Panzer-1C is heading now. Doesn't look like it on the mini-map. Looks like he's going to try and keep harassing us. Now, we haven't had any shots land, have we? Oh, there we go. There's the artillery having just fired. The Su-5. And we're about to spot the Su-5. Here he comes. Really, the Su-5? He should have probably sat back there and waited to be detected and got his reload done, because he came down there with no shell in the barrel and just died for no apparent reason really. He should have probably fallen back a bit. So now we've just got the PZ-1C to deal with, and the best thing we can now do is, we know we can't get to our cap in time, is roll into the cap and force him to come to us. As he says in chat, screw him, I'm going to cap. What else can you do in this situation? You're in a slow, heavy tank. We've got 9 kills. We've most definitely secured Top Gun a long time ago. We've now just got to wait. Put our feet up. It might be enough time just to ring out a couple of jokes from my joke book while we're waiting for the Panzer-1C to appear, so we can find some quick ones. I've had bad luck with both my wives. The first one left me, and the second one didn't. Patrick Murray. Browsing. I admire the Pope. I have a lot of respect for anyone who can tour without an album. Rita Rudner. I have as much authority as the Pope. I just don't have as many people who believe it. George Carlin. The other night I ate a really nice family at a nice family restaurant. Every table had an argument going. George Carlin. Come on, Panzer 1C. You've only got 10 seconds. Here he comes. 10 seconds left on the clock. Can the Panzer 1C just get a dot of damage? Just a dot. Just one hit would do. And we're auto-locking him. I don't think that's any kind of weirdness going on with the auto-lock. I think it's just a replay. Normally the auto-lock centres on the middle of the tank. And we get the 10 kills. And that is map game finished. We'll take a quick look at his post-game stats. And then I'll take my little bad boy out for a spin and see if I can get killed in the first 2 minutes, which is more than likely to happen. That's a nice screen to come back to once you've finished a battle. Wouldn't it be great if every screen looked like that? Ace Tanker, a whole raft of mini medals. Then we do pick up the Kolobanov's medal. We also pick up Cool-Headed. That's probably when Panzer 1Zs are shooting at you. Or actually any of the tier 3 tanks in the middle of the map when he was around that rock. Actually being by that rock in that game was quite useful. He was able to use it as a bit of cover just to keep his head clean and, you know, not be constantly under fire, just to appraise the minimap. Sometimes when you're under fire by many enemy tanks and you've got no cover but you're in a well-armed machine, you don't really take the time to look at the minimap and make tactical decisions about what you're going to do. You're just fighting continuously and you don't really aware, I'm sure better players are, but ordinary players just lose sight of the whole game as a big whole and they just focus on what's around them. So when you've got a big rock like that, you can just pause maybe and mentally just think, look at the minimap, make some decisions and move on. Anyway, yeah, Cool-Headed, Steel Wall, High Caliber, Invader and Top Gun. Obviously you could have been on for a Radley Walters at one point and then the Pools medal, but like I say, you've got to be in a tier 4 as a minimum on any given game to get those. Team scores, bit of a massive carry. Nearly 3 times as much XP as the next tank on your team. In damage, over 3 times as much damage as the next player in your team. And yeah, 10 kills. Great going. 64 shots fired. That gun does sing. Direct hits 48. Penetrations 41 of those because you're always top tier. 1996. 1,996 damage done. And we were able to block over 1,000 damage in that little tank. But like I say, it has got big weak spots and they are easily identifiable when you're looking at it at the front, even when it's angled. You're almost better off angling quite steeply at enemy tanks just to get that front as good as you can, because the sides are almost as strong as the frontal armour. Not the weak spots, but the armour is about 80mm down the sides of your tank when you're angled, well 90mm, even up to 100 if you go quite acute, but that does reveal a bit more of your front plates. So yeah, angling quite steeply is not a bad idea. Particularly when you angle to the left, as you're looking in the driver's position of your own tank. If you angle it to the left, enemy tanks to your right, that does cover up that big tyre. Your tracks kind of cover it up quite well, and so then you're minimising that weak spot. Detailed report, team scores, yeah, we've done all that. Right, my turn. Okay, let's roll over into my game and see if I can completely make myself look like an idiot, or actually do rather well. This will be, I won't mess you around. I'm just going to launch it and play it and record it and add it. Whatever happens, even if I die in the first minute of the game to artillery. Let's see what happens. So welcome to my live game in a Panzer B2. Odd matchmaking. There's 3 on my team. Oh man. We're getting some tips from our Panzer B2 to aim for the turret. Generally speaking, the turret is generally a kind of a safer bet if you're not sure where to aim at the front. I'd always go for that spare tyre option or that driver's hatch. It's a bit bigger and not so angled. Now where am I going to go? It's a cliff. I think I might go up onto this high ground over here. I'm going to go that PZB2. I think it might take me a little bit of time to get there. So I think this is a rule I'm going to apply now to all of my new videos with replays in. I'm going to, as long as I've got the tank or something really similar, will have to be a disclaimer. Actually, I've noticed in a few recent games chatting with fellow clan mates or friends that I've got a lot of tanks in my garage. I've got 91 tanks in my garage, and about 30 of them are premium tanks. A lot of them are low tier premiums. I'm always up for just spending a couple of quid on a tank, whatever it is, just because I'm sad. But if it's a premium tank, I'm more than likely on average to have it. If it's a regular tank, well, if it's German, I've probably got it. If it's Russian, I might well have it. I don't have many of the Japanese or Chinese tanks, unfortunately. There's a T-50 over there. Can I get... Now I'm wondering whether I want to go actually over this direction and try and engage that T-50. Are we going to get a cheeky shot? And it's Panzer 1C. 2 enemy artillery on the game, which are also a big enemy of the Panzer B2 because of our speed. Quite an inaccurate gun over those kind of ranges. I mean, how can you expect any accuracy from a gun which has got a barrel length that long? Yeah, it's pretty short. There's a lot of tanks to shoot at over here. But if I get detected... See the AMX-40. Just took out the Panzer B2 there. Now I feel a little bit vulnerable, actually. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Ooh, we nearly get a hit into that guy. Now I've got to be careful because artillery's now going to be probably aiming at me. I've got to get into some sort of building cover. Can't take any shots at those guys. I can take a shot at him. Settle down, gun. Settle down. There's our MX-40 again. I wonder what he's firing at me. Look at that, he's taken off nearly a third of my hit points, easily a third. Got to keep falling back. He just wants me, this guy. I'm going to load up my APCR. I do not need to get killed right now in this game. Got plenty of room to keep backing up. Can I get the kill shot on him? Says I'm getting green. Go for the centre of his turret. Try not to get a bounce. Right, going to go back to regular rounds again. Dang it. Dang it. I'm being peppered from all directions. Need to keep falling back. Keep being detected by this cheeky little son of a gun. Come on, please, one connect. Come on, RNG. Oh, thank God, someone else took him out. Yay! Oh, I thought I got a kill shot then. Enemy team, our friendly team has done a good job. I haven't done much, frankly. I've done no damage. None. Zip. Nada. Enemy artillery's back towards their base. Spotting damage, I've done 200, and I've bounced 200. I guess that's something. Knowing how well armoured the kind of range I'm going to be shooting at that PZB2, I think that Matilda's probably going to do okay if he can hit him. I think I'm going to come around behind him. That's all that's left now, isn't it? And they've got the artillery. So where's their M2 medium tank? It could well be over here somewhere. I could easily get shot now in my side. Yep, he's over here. I've got to angle well. I'm probably going to die, I feel. Come on, go for his turret. One more in his turret. Yay! We actually get a kill. M2 medium next. Can I get him? That'd be nice. There he is. I am spamming the gold a bit. I really don't need it for an M2 medium. Switching back to the regular AP. Now I just need a bit of speed. I am ready to fire. Can I get the kill shot? Oh, nearly. I doubt that shot would have actually gone to target at that range, at that speed. I don't think it would have happened. Anyway, we didn't do very well. Our other Panzer B2 did very well. He got 7 kills. He went down the south road and managed to do all that. Cool-headed. So I have at least 10 ricochets. That'll be from the Panzer 1C. I'm only going to be in the middle of the thing, aren't I? That was pretty hopeless, really. 389, 70 damage. I still came 4th, but terrible game in the Panzer B2. Speed is my worst enemy in that game. Couldn't really push up. I would have been destroyed. You can see that the enemy tanks were penetrating me quite happily. Can be a tough tank to play in an open map like that. There wasn't anywhere to hide really, and when they could see me, they could shoot me. Except for the PZ-1Cs, thank God. If they could pen you, God, it'd be hopeless. 14,000, took home 6.5. Yeah, 15 shots fired. 5 direct hits, only 2 of those penetrated. They were probably APCR rounds. Still, at least we were slightly in profit, at least. So I think it's a good thing to do, this. You see a really good game that you think, wow, I might get one of those, but you've got to be aware that more than likely most of your games are going to be like that. You'll be chasing the game, trying to angle, trying to stop being penetrated from other people that know this tank now. It's been out for a long time, the PZB2. I'm sure there's lots of videos on it on YouTube, and I've just showed you where the weak spots are. That little front hatch there that I'm pointing at on the icon, that spare tyre. It's not difficult to penetrate this tank if you aim at those weak spots. So anyway, all respect to FlashBoredom, well played, and more replays coming this week, and hopefully a couple of live games. Yeah, it's all going on. Thanks for watching, everyone. Kaida Pow. Have a good week. It's Monday. But hey, at least I released another video not too long after the last one. There's the upside. Cool, take care everyone, and I'll play tanks again soon. Take care. Bye bye.